Good morning, Mr. Brown. Can we talk about why learning English is so important?
Of course, Susie. English is a global language that opens doors to countless opportunities. Why do you think learning English might be useful?
I think it's helpful for communicating with people from different countries. Isn't it also the main language of international business?
Absolutely, Susie. Proficiency in English is essential for success in multinational companies. Did you know it's also the primary language of the internet and technology?
Really? That makes sense because most online resources are in English. But how does it help in education?
Great question. English is the medium of instruction in many of the world's top universities. Do you think it's important for travel as well?
Definitely. Knowing English makes it easier to navigate foreign countries and interact with locals. Do you think it helps in personal development too?
Without a doubt. Learning English improves critical thinking and expands cultural awareness. What about its role in entertainment?
Oh, I love watching English movies and listening to music. Understanding them in the original language feels amazing. Don't you think it boosts confidence too?
Yes, mastering English can significantly enhance self-confidence. It's empowering to express yourself in a widely understood language. What's your favorite way to learn English?
My favorite way is watching English TV shows and reading books. It's fun and educational at the same time. Do you think practicing speaking is equally important?
Absolutely, Susie. Speaking regularly helps improve fluency and confidence. Have you tried joining an English-speaking club or group?
Not yet, but I've been thinking about it. It sounds like a great way to practice. Do you think writing in English is as useful as speaking?
Yes, writing helps you organize your thoughts and improve grammar. You could start by keeping a journal or writing essays. Do you find grammar challenging?
Sometimes, especially the rules for tenses and prepositions. But practice makes it easier. Is it normal to make mistakes while learning?
Of course, Susie. Mistakes are a natural part of the learning process. They help you grow. What do you think is the most fun way to learn vocabulary?
I like playing word games and using flashcards. It makes learning more enjoyable. Are there other creative methods to learn?
Yes, listening to podcasts, watching YouTube tutorials, or even singing along to English songs can help. Have you tried learning through stories or audiobooks?
Yes, I love audiobooks. They improve my listening skills and pronunciation. Do you think traveling to English-speaking countries is helpful?
Definitely. Immersion is one of the best ways to learn a language. Have you ever thought about studying abroad?
I have, but it feels a bit intimidating. Do you think it's worth it despite the challenges?
Absolutely. The experience is life-changing. It not only improves your English, but also broadens your horizons. What's your favorite English word or phrase?
I love the phrase, "the sky's the limit." It's so positive and inspiring. Do you have a favorite saying in English?
I like "every cloud has a silver lining." It reminds me to stay optimistic. How do you stay motivated to keep learning?
I set small goals and reward myself when I achieve them. What about you? How do you encourage students to stay motivated?
I remind them of the benefits and encourage them to celebrate their progress. Do you think learning English can change someone's life?
Yes, I believe it can. English opens so many doors for education, work, and even friendships. How long do you think it takes to become fluent?
That depends on your dedication and practice. With consistent effort, you can see progress in just a few months. What do you think is the hardest part of learning English?
For me, it's understanding native speakers when they talk quickly. How can I improve my listening skills?
Listening to English daily helps a lot. Try podcasts, news channels, or even casual conversations. Do you enjoy watching English movies with subtitles?
Yes, it helps me understand better and learn new words. Should I always rely on subtitles, though?
Not always. Gradually try watching without them to improve comprehension. Do you prefer learning alone or with others?
I like both, but group learning is more interactive. What's your opinion on using apps for language learning?
Apps can be very helpful, especially for vocabulary and grammar. Have you tried using any language learning apps?
Yes, I've used a few, and they're great for quick practice. Do you think reading English newspapers is useful?
Very useful. It improves your vocabulary and keeps you informed. Have you tried reading online articles or blogs in English?
Yes, I read blogs about my hobbies. It makes learning more enjoyable. What's the best way to improve pronunciation?
I recommend practicing with a native speaker or using pronunciation tools. Do you feel confident speaking English in public?
Not always, but I'm getting better with practice. How can I overcome my fear of making mistakes?
Remember, everyone makes mistakes while learning. Focus on progress, not perfection. Do you think English idioms are important to learn?
Yes, they make conversations more natural. Do you have a favorite idiom?
I like break the ice. It's a great way to describe starting a conversation. What's an idiom you've recently learned?
Piece of cake. It means something is easy, right? How do I learn more idioms?
You can find them in books, shows, and even online lists. Do you think slang is important to learn too?
Yes, it helps me understand casual conversations. But how can I use slang appropriately?
Listen carefully to how native speakers use it, and always consider the context. Do you enjoy learning English through music?
Absolutely. It's fun and helps with pronunciation. What's your favorite English song?
I like Imagine by John Lennon. It's meaningful and easy to understand. What's yours?
I love Someone Like You by Adele. Her voice is amazing. Do you think English poetry is good for learning?
Yes, poetry enriches vocabulary and teaches rhythm. Have you tried writing your own poems in English?
Not yet, but it sounds interesting. How can I start?
Start with simple words and phrases, and focus on expressing your thoughts. Do you enjoy storytelling in English?
Yes, it's a great way to practice. How can I make my stories more engaging?
Use descriptive language and vivid imagery. Do you think role-playing helps in learning English?
Yes, it's fun and builds confidence. Can you suggest some role-playing activities?
You could pretend to be in a restaurant, at the airport, or shopping. Have you tried shadowing native speakers?
Not yet. What is shadowing and how does it work?
It's repeating what a speaker says in real time to mimic their pronunciation and rhythm. Do you enjoy English tongue twisters?
They're challenging but fun. Can you share one with me?
She sells seashells by the seashore. Can you say it fast?
I'll try. She sells seashells by the seashore. Wow, that's tricky. Do you think tongue twisters really help with pronunciation?
Yes, they improve your clarity and speech muscles. Have you tried creating your own tongue twisters?
Not yet, but that sounds fun. What's another way to practice tricky sounds in English?
Reading aloud helps a lot. It improves pronunciation and fluency. Do you read English books out loud sometimes?
Yes, especially children's books because they're simpler. Do you think children's stories are good for adults learning English?
Absolutely. They're easy to understand and often use common vocabulary. Have you read any famous English classics?
Not yet, but I'd like to. Can you recommend one for beginners?
The Little Prince is a great choice. It's simple yet meaningful. Do you prefer fiction or nonfiction?
I prefer fiction because it's more entertaining. What about you?
I enjoy both, but I love nonfiction for learning new ideas. Do you think watching English news is helpful?
Yes, but sometimes it's too fast for me to understand. How can I improve?
Start with slower news programs or those designed for learners. Do you like watching interviews in English?
Yes, they're great for learning conversational language. Do you think mimicking the speakers in interviews is useful?
Definitely. It helps with intonation and natural speech. Have you tried recording yourself speaking English?
Yes, it helps me identify mistakes. Do you think listening to my recordings is enough?
It's a good start, but feedback from others is also important. Have you ever joined an online English learning community?
Not yet, but I've been considering it. Do you think they're helpful? Susie, no, but it sounds interesting. How do I find one?
Very helpful. You can practice with people from around the world. Have you ever had a language exchange partner?
Yes, they make learning so much fun. Can you suggest any good ones?
There are websites and apps that connect learners for language exchange. Do you enjoy learning English through games?
Yes, they're fun and quick. Do you think flashcards are better for learning vocabulary?
Scrabble and word puzzles are great for vocabulary. Have you played word association games?
Digital ones because they're easier to carry. What's the best way to learn new words in context?
Flashcards are effective, especially for memorization. Do you prefer digital or physical flashcards?
Yes, I write down new words with their meanings. Is it better to write example sentences too?
Reading sentences or paragraphs that use the word is very helpful. Do you keep a vocabulary journal?
I try to, but sometimes I forget. How often should I review it?
Absolutely. It helps you understand how to use the word. Do you review your vocabulary journal regularly?
I use mnemonics sometimes. Thank you so much for this wonderful conversation, Mr. Brown.
You're very welcome, Susie. It was a pleasure talking with you. Keep up the great work, and remember, every step you take brings you closer to fluency.
I've learned so much and feel more motivated to keep improving my English.
Best of luck on your journey.
Thanks again, Mr. Brown. Have a great day.
You too, Susie. Take care and keep practicing.